Have anybody a question?
Or explain it with face to face? Slowly.
Yeah. John?
Could you clarify? I mean, at one point you talked about group work. You were deciding what is learning. Yeah, right at the beginning. I just wonder whether that was interactive on the web, or was it real people in a room as a support for this? Do you see the point?
Érted, mit kérdez?
Hát most csoportként hogy működik ez, hogyha ez interneten keresztül zajlik?
Azt kérdezi, hogy interneten, vagy ténylegesen egy szobában, vagy egy helyiségben voltak, vagy tudtak egymással kommunikálni?
Hát ez most ebben segítsél, légy szíves, hogy most hogy zajlik. Nem, this is not group work. It was a group work. Earlier,
he made such trainings in a classroom.
Yeah.
But now we would like to transfer it to the internet. It's a question, it works or not, we will see.
Yeah. But I agree with you that it's very important to have definitions for the people who are learning, to say what is learning. Yeah? And I thought you built it in to the online kind of process, because I think that first process about asking people what they think is learning is actually very important. It actually then structures the way people learn, because they'll feel some ownership of the process if their definition of learning is actually followed through in the course. That's why I asked about that, because I think if it isn't real people, then it should be built into the online by some kind of, I don't know what you call it or not, but a Skype sort of circle or something which can actually discuss that first of all, because I'm thinking just about how I've done similar things, and that first stage is absolutely crucial. So they're on board really to understand what the whole damn thing's about really. And it's you mentioned it, I thought great. But I just wondered where it happened. But if it's not going to happen in real, person to person, then I think there ought to be some kind of conferencing or something, before the start, because it's also interacting with other definitions as well, isn't it? You might have your own view of learning, but you might get a really good idea from somebody else who's defining learning. And that debate about learning seems to me not as important, but an important element in the whole process of learning to learn.
Yeah, it's interesting and it's possible. So it's yeah.
One or two small questions. For this, what kind of student is this course? For what kind of adults?
Milyen fajta embereket gondolod így tanítani?
Anybody.
And after, they have some certification in the end of the course.
That's valamilyen bizonyítvány, hogy gratulálás. It's a very interesting and a very hard question, because if you ask me, I gave you a certification about mathematics, then I know what I have to do. For example, from geometry or something like this. But a certification, you find in your own way how you have to learn effectively, good, etc. I'm not able to give you a certificate. You have to find your way on learning. So I think it's very, very hard to classify.
But after, if I need that for my curriculum,
you need it in your life.
yes.
Yeah, in a curriculum also, but no, I can say just no. if you would like a short answer, no.
And the last question, it will be free or the students need to pay?
Ingyen van, vagy fizetnek érte?
Paid. Yeah, not too much, but paid.
Lots of,
I
tons of
mentioned
money.
in the morning,
Yes, I know.
freeware, absolutely free shareware, so it's not free, but not very expensive.
And it will be in Moodle platform or
Yeah.
in Moodle?
But it's not ready.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's a
You
plan.
see.
Yes, the plan.
But we hope in some months it will be ready.
Yeah.
It will be ready, very expensive, and
Very expensive.
lots of people will want to.
I
It will
hope.
be very rich.
Come.
I will go to you, John, with my plane. You know?
Will people pay?
It's about time you came to it.
Yeah.
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 But, I mean, I don't want to be too kind of, it's not a criticism, I'm just trying to think through some of the issues. I mean, doesn't it almost assume linear learning? You know, rather than, you know, the idea of one stage goes to another stage, etc. I mean, adults don't always learn in a linear way. Secondly, there's the issue of outcomes. Interaction in groups and people. We often talk, at least in the Western and Northern European tradition, of unexpected outcomes that actually emerge from the group interaction and debates, which are as important very often as the outcome you thought you were going to reach in the group. So I think that's very difficult to replicate online, to be quite honest.
Yes.
You know, and I think that
Absolutely.
I think online methodologies like this lose an important element
Yes.
of
Absolutely.
what is current adult education practice. Now, that might not be the best practice. This may be a new way, but in my last, when I was in a full-time job, I mean, we came up with what we call blended learning, which was to lean on quite heavily on online stuff, but actually see it as blended with group work, traditional delivery of courses, which seemed to be just about working. Just one last point, I mean, it's a bit like, I'm a historian, and I taught history for many years, and my students used to come up with, you know, like historical definitions or whatever. I say, well, later on, try and find it, you know, Google it, etc. And it was bizarre. I got the most appalling stuff, you know, from the internet, because I think it's a library. Students need the catalogue, the index, they need the support, they need other forms. You know, that blended learning seems to me to be quite an important concept. I don't know whether, you know, I mean, I might be obvious that you might think, well, that's what we're going to do anyway, but I just think that ought to be really as much as part of the package as the straight online stuff. Okay?
Yes, I absolutely agree with you. Just the way cannot turn. If we have a complete plan for an online course, then from this it's very easy to, not very easy, but easier to make a mix, the blended, with Skype, with online in the same time at the computer or in the same place. But it's quite impossible to turn. I have a plan for how you have to learn. You will find your own way in a classroom, and from then grow up an online. Just if we have a complete plan to make it online, then we can say after we finish it, okay, this part is better in the same time behind the computer or collect the people in a room, etc., etc. So the first step is to have the stones, which we will build. Yes. But in the view there is of course a blended version. Yeah.
We will try. Everything. Hogy van a pudinga?
Hogy?
A puding próbálja az elég.
Yeah.
Ahol nem tudom. Yes? The test of pudding is the eating.
The test of Yorkshire pudding, for example, is to eat it. We have to see if it works or not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Yorkshire pudding tastes awful on its own. You have to have no, the point about that, Yorkshire pudding is wonderful, but you need gravy. You need the two. Yeah.
Yes, Christy?
Thomas, yeah, I'm a little bit confused, I have to say, whether this is a tool that you're developing for the teacher, or is this a tool that you're developing for the student? And I'm sorry if that's a very obvious question, but I am a little bit confused about the
Érted,
tool.
mit kérdez?
Nem értem.
Hogy a tanároknak vagy a diákoknak mondjuk
Ja, ja.
találkozó.
Aha. Kik a célcsoport?
Ennek a...
Kiknek írtál?
Kiknek
Learners. Our target group is the learners, the
students.
students.
Ki fogja a kezébe ezt a táblázatot? A tanár vagy a
No, this table nobody.
Nobody.
This sheet nobody will see. You see it now.
So this is a tool for the teacher, yes?
No, for the student. Is not this one. This is
what
just
you
the
use as a
plan, what we will
template.
do.
Yeah, this is your template.
Yes,
Yes.
of course.
Yes.
Nobody will see it. You see it now.
Yeah.
For the teacher. It's for the teacher.
No.
The teacher
Use it.
use it. It's this.
The teachers, we.
Yeah,
Doing the course. Yeah. It's
Just
for us. Yes.
Yeah.
This what you see on the screen.
I'm looking for the
Just not
story.
established, this is the framework.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, can I ask you then, the material you will use, will it be a mixture of film,
Yes. Exactly.
videos,
Exactly.
YouTube,
Animation, drawing.
writing?
Yeah. Of
TVTs.
course.
Okay.
Of course. Just a short note, animation from what we finished. For example, the story is always a movie, a film.
Yes.
Yeah. And here is the notes. You know, if I am on a course or I learn something, it's necessary to make notes.
Absolutely.
So this line teach them how to make it. The first lesson will for the student, okay, you saw the first story. Write a note, you can stop the film and you can review the film, but you have to make a note. At the end, you can compare the film, I said, second lesson. A week later. You have seen the film, okay, you write the notes, you can stop it, the movie, but didn't review. And so the last step is, you have seen the film, take a paper, a pencil, switch off the computer and make a note. So there is always a film, films, animation, text is, of course, is necessary, and the logical exercise, like games, logical games, they have to find a solution. Because we have to turn his brain a little bit.
That helps enormously, that helps.
And I'm a trainer, I'm a teacher, and we translating this. We have to translate for online methodology.
Can I make a suggestion, Thomas? Just an idea, the concept is that if the learner is already doing the work at home,
Yeah?
perhaps you need to find another term for homework, because it's confusing because you're already doing the work at home. So maybe something like a bonus activity or a bonus activity or a
Bonus activity is good.
Something that is a little, you know, it's extra work and it's good to do it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
just
I understand.
maybe-
Thank you very
I'm
much.
sure you have better ideas than that, but you know, just
It's very interesting because there was such discussion about this name, homework or not. And I like homework.
you do.
Yeah. Because it's very, everybody understands it. You have to do it alone. At home or not at home is another question. You can do it on the playground also. So it's just absolutely subjective.
Subjective.
Yes, it is.
So is my from my view. I love homework.
I would like to tell you something.
Maybe you have the right, it's not the good word for the students.
If this is it's purely the
Yeah.
concept that you started with, learning from home.
But you must know homework in Hungarian has nothing to do with home. If you translate it back, it's housework. But I know it has another meaning in English, but it's housework in Hungarian. I think we have to thank Tamás for the...
Okay, Thomas.
Thank
Thank
you, your
you.
patient.
Is anybody have something to show you, something like that? No, nobody?
After the cafe, maybe?
Of course after the cafe, but I would like to know. To show something which is online and you are working on or what is exist already or something like that. Nobody? Okay, then timetable. It's 10 to 3. We meet at 3:15. So you have nearly 25 minutes, okay? But please be here at 3:15 and we follow.